Hey all, Brandon here, kicking off a new project series that I'm excited to share with you. I've recently acquired around 20 acres of some raw land that I've got some big plans for. This area will hopefully be a great place to start some projects around permaculture farming, off-grid building, and a perfect place to use my camper. The amazing views and space got me really excited for this area. It already has a few rough pads established, as well as a basic driveway. I'm planning on starting slow, with the goal of building a shed, getting a well drilled, and planting a small grove of fruit trees. Soon enough, I'll get the camper out here too. There are two small valleys on either side of the driveway leading up to the main pad at the top. There's definitely a lot I don't know how to do, but I'm excited to learn. There's a pretty well-established driveway on the property. There's also about a quarter mile of dirt road leading up to it. Before I get to any big projects, the road needs some repairs so I can access the property and move around a bit easier. It hasn't been maintained for a while and has washed out in quite a few areas. There were spots where the crevices were more than a foot deep. The driveway loop held up way better than the road at the front. Road repairs like this are not something I'm equipped to do, so I hired a local company to come out. He knocked out this quarter-mile stretch in less than a day. I was definitely happy to see the improvement, and the roads have held up pretty well so far. I'm sure this is just the beginning of the earthwork, since the property will need plenty more for building pads, drainage, and swales. Another thing I wanted to address is this busted gate. This massive privacy gate they had fell at some point, and the fence post fell with it. I was hoping to temporarily solve this with a few bags of concrete and just propping the gate back up. This was definitely a two-person job, so I was grateful to have my wife help me out. We stood up the gate and secured it in place. Perfect. Look at this classy gate. Well, that only lasted about 2 weeks before a big storm came through and knocked it out. I didn't expect it to last forever, but that was disappointing. So I took down the gate and stood the pole back up. Set aside the first half of the gate, then pulled down the other side. Now we'll just use a simple chain. At least it'll discourage folks from driving on the property when we're not there. I think a real gate is a project for another video. This property has some amazing views, especially from the pad at the top of the driveway. You can look down over this whole valley and see the mountain on the other side. The property is covered in native plants. These red shanks are one of the main species. It's pretty dense, even around the main pad area, so some of this will need to be cleared. The goal of removing this brush is to make way for the views, clear a fire perimeter on the pad, and make some mulch. It was pretty easy to get these down with a chainsaw. It was mostly a lot of small branches and bushes. It's a big area that needed to be cleared, so it took quite a while. I hauled the brush off to get it ready to be chipped. Cutting these down started to give way to this amazing view. After getting it all cut down, I had a big pile of brush that needed to be handled. So it's time to get to work with this little wood chipper. The chipper isn't made for big material, so I had to sort out what couldn't be chipped. After all that work, there was still a big pile of branches that were too big. I'll probably end up cutting it down and using it for firewood. I'm not exactly sure what we'll build here, but I'm sure we'll appreciate the view. With this area cleared, it's much easier to imagine the next phase of the project. I'll be building a shed, then getting a well drilled, followed by some water tanks. The shed will be nice so I don't have to haul everything out here every time, plus I'll have a place for some shade. It'll probably be a good place to set up a solar system as well. Drop a comment below if you have ideas about farming or permaculture projects that would be interesting to see here. There's a lot of work to do. Like this video if you think this is an interesting project, and subscribe if you want to see how it turns out.